Welcome to Isra Training Institute, Hyder Road, Isra Rawalpindi, Kent. So today we are with reading part 2. In this lecture, I will tell you that how to go with your reading module. The question arises in our mind, is reading an easy task? To be honest, it's not. Why? Because we even don't read our courses. No matter either you are done with your bachelor's, with master's or intermediate. So students from Asian countries, they are not fond of reading. So for them reading is always a difficult task. Now how to cope with it? Because you cannot avoid reading. This is one of the 4 components which you are supposed to perform. So instead of running, what you need to do is learn to walk step by steps and how to perform better in your reading task. That is what is actually the main focus of today's lecture. In previous lecture, I talked that what an actual are the types of questions, time duration. Now we are coming towards the practical implementation that how you need to do once you begin your reading test. So before going into questions, what you need to do, for each passage you are having 18 minutes. Now -4 to understand the passage. In these 4 minutes, you are supposed to understand passage at least, that which para contains which particular point. First thing that you need to do is directly go to the title, read it. If you understood that what an actual the title is, then things would become easier for you. But it doesn't mean that whichever the top title is on the top, you would clearly understand that, because sometimes words appear at the front main heading or title which we are not able to understand. Still, title is important, but let's say you didn't get that what an actual the meaning of the title is all about. For that, you need to understand first 2 sentences. By understanding what I mean, read first 2 sentences carefully. And every time you have to do with each paragraph this same criteria. Why? Because whenever any para begins, it begins at the start with a main key point. So once you would read those first 2 sentences, you would come to know that what an actual is the main theme of the passage. That would clarify the meaning of the title. Other than that, it would give you another factor, and what that factor would be, that what an actual is the point of view a writer wants to discuss in that paragraph. You need to apply the same criteria by reading 1, 2, in extreme cases 3 sentences of each paragraph, and then point out or highlight or write it in the margin of your question paper where you are having the passage, just in order to keep in your mind that which para contains which particular theme or point. Do it sequentially with all paragraphs. What in actual is the purpose of identifying these points? This is actually the main criteria which would help you out in order to sort out your questions answers. Directly, how these points would help you out? It would help you out in your list of headings criteria. List of headings, it always fall within the first 2, in extreme cases in 3rd sentence. Whenever you are identifying that which para contains either the following information or from the box which heading suits which paragraph, so always focus on the first 2 sentences. It is going to help you out in this case directly. Now coming towards other types of questions which you will be tested in your reading test. Let's say that you are doing, after a list of headings, your multiple choice questions. So what you need to do is, once you read first multiple choice question, then focus on these points. Whichever points relate to that first question, it means your answer, your first question answer, it would lie within that particular paragraph. Now here, onward this, the most important thing, that is it sequential in reading? Once you identify the answer to your first multiple choice question, onward that, all the rest of the questions, they would come in sequence. 1, then 2, then 3, so as 4, 5, and if you are having 6, 7. Likewise is the case with your true, false, not given, or with your yes, no, not given. That what you need to do is read the first statement of true, false, not given. Again, focus on those points that you actually pointed out from your reading first 2, 3 sentences. Once you identify that first question of true, false, let's say it is question 5 till question number 10. Then onward 5, 6 will come in sequence, same as the case with 7, 8, 9, 10. Likewise would be the case with your yes, no, not given, that if you identify the first one, yes, no, then the sequence would begin in that same manner. And it is for sure that the rest of the questions, they would come after that first question. Likewise is the case with your blanks. Either that is summary or complete, the missing word, but in case of summary, it is always congested. A kind of, in first para you would have 1, followed by second para, where there would be no information, or in third para there are no information. Why? Because summary, it is always from the whole passage. So in this case, though there is a sequence, but what happens, that sequence is random sequence. But in blanks, once you identify the first one question answer, then the same thing is followed as in case of multiple choice question, yes, no, or true, false. So through this criteria, what you would come to know, it doesn't mean that everything would become easy for you. But what would happen, that at least you would come to know about the methodology and the criteria that how to manage your time and how to consume those 4 minutes in a proper way. What usually students do, they are always in a hurry. And if you are in a hurry, your time is wasted, you didn't answer questions, you feel exhausted. And once exhaustion begins, then obviously what happens? Even though those questions which you are capable of solving, you are not even able to do those things. The first and last criteria is understand passage, point out the key factors, either write it on the margin line or highlight it within the sentence, and then begins think within a sequential manner. And never forget that multiple choice questions, first one followed in a sequence. True, false, yes, no, same is the case with your blanks. So this would help you out in order to score very good band in your IELTS reading test. Try to walk, don't run. That's all related to your reading. Stay tuned to us.